Well, evidently, we'll have to give you another one. There you go.
Thank you.
Everybody have a worksheet for today? All right, so anyway, we covered, on Monday, we covered effective listening. And I thought it would be helpful for me to show you an example of what is ineffective listening. I think this is pretty self-explanatory.
Play. 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 Play.
What are you doing?
Trying to use a Jedi mind trick to control Stephen Hawking. Play. Play. Ugh. He must be wearing a tinfoil hat or something.
I did a bad thing.
Does it affect me?
Nope.
Did you get it?
Then suffering silence, he said.
Play. Play. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking.
Penny started taking a class. She wrote a paper. She didn't want me to read it. I went behind her back. I read it anyway.
Stephen Hawking hates me.
I don't know what to do. The paper's terrible. But if I tell her, she'll know that I read it, and she'll get really mad.
I was beating him so bad he doesn't want to be friends anymore. Why does everyone love me except Stephen Hawking?
Is it possible we're having two different conversations?
How do I know? I'm not listening to you.
Hang on. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Chess clock. We each get 5 minutes to talk about our problems. We'll take turns. Each turn will consist of a statement and a helpful response from the friend. Begin.
I humiliated Stephen Hawking in a game of words with friends. He stopped playing, and now we're not friends anymore.
He's probably busy. And you're worried about nothing. Give it a couple more days. I'm sure he'll play and see that everything's fine. My turn. I can't let Penny hand in a bad paper, but how do I tell her it's bad without letting her know that I've read it?
Beats me. Now, I know Hawking's not busy because I can see he's playing other people right now.
Maybe since you're so good, he's taking his time to meet the challenge. I want Penny to enjoy it.
Wallace told me he's a big baby. Yeah, I didn't know that, and I played Extract for 82 points. Oh, it's all Amy's fault. She told me to play it. I've got to cut her loose.
Sheldon, I wasn't done talking. She hands in the paper tomorrow. I know I could help her. She's my girlfriend. I should be allowed to help her. Why aren't I allowed to help her?
I hear you, brother.
You need to give me some advice.
Fine. Women, huh?
Specific to my situation.
Wait, blonde women, huh?
Empathetic.
It sucks to be you. Leonard, wait. No. I listen to your dumb thing. Leonard, come back. Leonard.
What?
Oh, of course. It only works on the weak-minded.
How to kill all mosquitoes in the area in just minutes. This
So obviously that was an example of what not to do. So then on Tuesday, we talked about effective speaking. We talked about the speaker-listener technique, proactive listening, the love talk. I want to give you a somewhat okay example of that, if I can find it. Okay, I think we got to go through a commercial, and then I can skip it, and I can enlarge it, and okay.
First there was
Take matters into his own
aka
hands.
PS1.
Blessed
then
with a
there's
gift
PS2,
for engineering and a
PS3,
desire
and
to
now
live
PS4.
without the
And that
constant
makes
fear
sense.
of getting bitten.
You'd think after
He was able to
Xbox, there'd
reverse
be
engineer
Xbox
common
2,
mosquito
but
killing
no.
devices.
Next came Xbox 360. And now,
Yeah, great. Daniel, thank you. How about a hand for Daniel? All right.
aka
And on the
PS1.
spot.
Then there's PS2, PS3, and now PS4. And that makes sense. You'd think after Xbox, there'd be Xbox 2. But no. Next came Xbox 360. And now, after 360, comes Xbox One. Why one? Maybe that's how many seconds of thought they put into naming it.
Can you get the butter, please?
You know, however, with the Xbox One, I can control my entire entertainment system using voice commands. Up until now, I've had to use Leonard.
Then get the other one. Pass the butter.
Hang on. don't feel like you're taking this dilemma seriously.
Fine, Sheldon. You have my undivided attention.
Okay, now, the PS4 is more angular and sleek looking.
No way!
It's true. But the larger size of the Xbox One may keep it from overheating.
You wouldn't want your gaming system to overheat?
No, you absolutely would not. And furthermore, the Xbox One now comes with a Kinect included.
Included?
Yes. Not sold separately. Although the PS4 uses cool new GDDR5 RAM, while the Xbox One is still using the conventional DDR3 memory.
Why would they still be using DDR3? Are they nuts?
See, that's what I thought. But then they go and throw in an ES RAM buffer.
Oh, wait a second. Who's they?
The Xbox.
You're kidding!
No, I am not. This ES RAM buffer should totally bridge the 100 gigabit per second bandwidth gap between the two RAM types.
This is a nightmare. How will you ever make a decision?
See, I don't know. What should I do?
Please pass the butter!
I meant to show those the other day and I forgot, so I figured better late than never. But again, communication is such tricky business. We all have our individual styles and our perceptions, our filters, all those things we talked about on, I think it was Monday. And yet, we have times where we want to have a conversation with somebody and we're hesitant to do that. Raise your hand if you know anybody who's ever been in that situation. I don't have a collar on, so I didn't want to turn this into a confessional, but come on. We've all been there. So what I gave you was a worksheet. We're going low tech today, but I divided it up into 4 stages. Prepare, engage, and follow up. So let's just go through this. And by the way, before I do, who's somebody in your professional life that you really want to have a conversation with? You've got a conversation you've been putting off. Just make a thought about that. I'd like you to think about those people as you're going through this presentation. And in your personal life, family member, friend, church member, whoever. Does anybody not have a worksheet? Does anybody not have a pen? And I apologize, I guess you're going to have to write on your knee or maybe your neighbor's knee. Ooh, you know what I got? I got...
Somebody else.
Who wants some help, something to write on? Thank you. Somebody better take these from me. I better get them back. Who else? Makes it easier to write on. Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. I'm sorry?
What are you passing out?
You can write on.
Yeah.
It's easier to write on.
That's the question.
So, all right. So think about somebody in your life that you'd like to have a challenging conversation with. They're doing something that you find objectionable. They're not doing something you wish they would do. They're getting on your nerves, whatever, and you want to talk to them. But why don't we, by the way, help me, why don't we have those conversations? Rejection, fear of rejection.
I'm a peacemaker.
I'm a peacemaker. I don't want to cause waves. But you're not creating peace with yourself, though, are you?
Afraid of the outcome.
Afraid of the outcome. I think that's a big one. Yeah, we're worried about the results. Folks, I'm going to tell you, the older I get, and I'm getting there, I just want to do what God wants me to do and let Him worry about the results.
Amen. Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can't control the results. I can't control what other people do or don't do. And God doesn't expect me to. I'm responsible to do what I feel He's telling me to do. And as long as I do that, I'll let Him worry about the results. I don't have to. So, all right. So, prepare. Let's have audience participation. What's the first one?
Pray. Seek God's wisdom.
Is that a good start?
Very good.
Okay, class is over. No, well, Many times it might be. But if we're not doing that, if we're leaving that out, then I don't like any of the rest of what I'm going to share with you. What's the second one?
Ask God to keep you humble and do your part to remain humble.
I just read a book. Where was I? I was in Washington, and somebody gave me a book that said, we cannot humble ourselves. And it made great sense to me. Can't humble yourself.
You really don't want to ask God to humble.
Well, I know.
We just can't-
Don't give God,
Humility.
don't ask God to give you patience, and don't ask Him to give you humility, to make you humble. But we can be willing and say, God, I want to be humble. It's the best way to live. It's the way you want me to live. It's what I want to do. You do it through me. I offer myself to you. Do with me as you will. What's the next one? Who's got the third one?
Pray together as appropriate.
Is that always appropriate?
Absolutely.
Is it?
No.
It's an atheist.
Yeah. If you're meeting with an atheist and you say, hey, let's pray, I don't think that's getting the conversation off to a good start. You can pray silently, but I would not recommend that you say, hey, let's pray together if they're not a believer. If they are, then absolutely pray together. What's the fourth one? This is big. What's the
Know
fourth one?
your purpose and desired outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, you better know why you're having this conversation. You better be crystal clear on what the problem is, what the issue is, what you're hoping to take to a better place, or your chances of success are going to go way down. Now, don't be locked in that there's only one desired outcome, because maybe you'll come up after talking with the person, you'll come up with something you hadn't thought of before. Okay. But pretty well know what your purpose and desired outcome is. I like the next one. What is it?
Give some thought to their possible desired outcome.
Yeah, with emphasis on their desired outcome. Know your own, nothing wrong with that. But spend some time thinking, what would they like to see come from this? Because you may be able to give it to them. Heard of these two boys, I think I already told you this, maybe I didn't. They were arguing over a piece of pie. There were two pieces, one was bigger than the other. And Mom said, boys, Jesus would want the other to have the bigger piece. At which point one brother said to the other, you be Jesus. I like this next one too. And again, these are all preparing yourself and the other person. Please, if you're going to have a difficult conversation that you spend days, weeks, months, whatever, thinking on, don't just jump it on the other person, drop it on the other person. That's not fair. So what's the next one say? Let them know. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious on that one that we just read. When you give them a heads up, I'm assuming that you give them the topic, what's your topic?
Yeah. Tell them, hey, you know what? I got a concern that's impacting our relationship. It's not huge, but yeah, I feel a need to talk to you about it. Is this a good time, or when would you like to meet?
Okay, so
And they say, what's it about? You can say, well, you might want it, depending on the circumstance. You might say, well, it's about this certain behavior or that, but I don't want to, I want us to talk with each other. It's not going to be an ugly, try to ease their discomfort as much as possible, because if you're both discomforted, that's not good. Yes, ma'am.
And also, when you make a phone call, you ask them, is this a good time? That is a very
Courteous?
courteous thing to be.
Did you hear
And
what she
people
said?
appreciate that.
Did you hear what she said? I was a probation parole officer in my hometown for 9 years. And in fact, let me just quickly scan the room. I don't think I recognize anybody. There was a guy, Jim. Oh, what was Jim's last name? It's not going to come to me right now, but Jim was an alcohol and drug therapist, so we interacted frequently because many of my clients were going to him for treatment to deal with their substance issues. And every time, Ron, this is Jim. Have you got a minute? Is this a good time to call? And I mean, why do we answer the phone if it's not a good time? Because we do.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would always say, Jim, thanks for asking. How about call me back in 15? If I haven't called you back in 15 minutes, you call me back in 20.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to confess to you. If you want to talk to me, you don't want to talk when I'm occupied somewhere else.
Right.
Half my brain is not enough for you. Trust me. Trust me. So, or I'd say, sure, Jim, what do you got? And so I've tried to do that ever since. It's absolutely a courtesy. Hey, is this a good time to talk? And many times people say, oh man, you know what, hold on, give me just a minute, let me wrap this up.
They usually tell you the truth.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. So give them a heads up. Let them know, hey, this is a conversation that I'm a little nervous about because I value our relationship. I value you, and I'm afraid I might say it wrong. I love to do that. And that's not false humility. It's true. I may say it wrong, and it could go in a bad direction. I don't want that to happen. So give them a heads up. And again, it's all going to depend on the relationship, what the issue is. But give them a heads up and ask them for a convenient time to meet. What's the next one? I like this one.
Expect a positive response.
Yeah,
Assuming good
because
intent.
again, as this sister right here shared, sometimes we don't go because we're afraid of the results. We catastrophize and, oh, what about this and what about that? You know what? Why not expect a positive result? Is there a chance that it could have a positive result? Yes. So until proven wrong, go in and anticipate. It's going to impact how your whole body language, your whole demeanor, everything. If you're going in dreading, oh, this is going to be terrible, you can't hide that. You can't hide that. All right. And lastly,
Push the pause button before engaging.
I don't know what that is. What is push the pause button? Oh, did the guy cover that? I missed it. How many of you were not at lunch, at the meeting after lunch in the gym? All right, let me back up just for a moment. Push the pause button. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I went to a very crowded place at a very inopportune moment. Is that a good way to say I went to Walmart on Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
And I realized if I hadn't chosen my attitude, somebody was probably going to get to me. And so I decided right then and there, I don't care what other people do. I'm going to be Mr. Smiley, Mr. Happy, Mr. Rogers in the neighborhood, whatever. And I had a successful journey to Walmart. Now, I do not want to go to Walmart on Christmas Eve ever again in my entire life. I don't have stupid written on my forehead. But the lesson I learned, if I didn't push the pause button, get a handle on my emotions, and go into it with the appropriate, it wouldn't have gone well. And that's what I'm suggesting here. Just say, all right, hey, this could be a difficult situation, but it could be a very positive situation. And it's funny, hold on, one thought. When we put something off and put something off and put something off, and we finally do it, what release that is, what joy that is. And we wonder, what took me so long in the first place? Yes, sir.
You could choose to have your shopping done ahead of time and then purposely go to Walmart on Christmas Eve to spread that good cheer again.
I hope most of you didn't hear that, and I'm certainly not going to repeat it. You heard about that preacher that quit preaching and went to Medlin, didn't you? So prepare. If it's a challenging conversation, a potentially risky situation, then it calls for some preparation. There's no shame in that. That's wise, isn't it? Prepare. Any other thoughts that I left out? How else might you prepare? What might help you to prepare for a challenging conversation?
Sometimes I rehearse what I'm going to say, but it doesn't always, usually it's not what I say.
Yeah. Rehearse what you're going to say. That could be helpful. You know, and it's funny you say that. Again, when I was a probation parole officer, I remember the first time I ever got called on to testify against one of my clients. It was going to be in the courtroom. I was going to have to sit in the witness chair. I had never done that before. So somebody suggested that I go out to the courtroom the day before, empty courtroom, but I just sit in that witness chair. I just sat in the witness chair and imagined I'm in court and the district attorney's going to try to get me whatever, and I'm just going to keep my cool. And it was a huge help. So sometimes rehearsing. Then when I did have to go to court, I had already been there. It wasn't all brand new and unknown, what have you. So yeah, you could rehearse. I wouldn't take that too far because it's kind of like chess. I like to play chess, but I'm not very good. I don't want to plan 7 moves when I don't know what you're going to do. You could mess up my whole plan. Shame on you. Any other thoughts about preparing? Yes, sir.
Well, you gather your thoughts together, and you might have certain points you want to make. So you get those together. A lot of times, when we have to, out of the blue, something comes up, we're just not prepared. We twist our tongue, we say something we really shouldn't have said, and that happens a lot.
No, I like that. I like that. And maybe even have a little index card with those points on it, and let the person know, hey, you are so important to me. I want to do everything I can to make sure this conversation goes well. I got a list of a few points here, but by the way, I've left some lines so I can write down what your concerns are, what your points are. So yeah, have those in your mind. I like it. Did I see another hand somewhere? Yes, ma'am.
Pretty similar to what you were saying. I always write down the things I want to cover.
Okay.
Main and just keywords.
Just keywords, right? Not paragraphs so you're reading, but
so that I can look at it, so that because I get nervous sometimes, and I will forget half of what I intended to cover. Like an agenda.
is that what does it? It's nerves? Okay, I'm not going there. I shared this with somebody this morning in the bookstore, though. Who is in the bookstore with you? I'm out here. Yeah, you. It was you. I don't think I have early Alzheimer's, and I'm not making any jokes, folks. Some of us, it's a horrible early senility, but I'm forgetting more. And I think the reason is that after 72 years, there's a logjam up there. And I shared this, so I want to know, be truthful with me. How many of you, how can you remember your second grade teacher?
She was my favorite.
When's the last time you thought of her? Or him?
Recently.
Huh? The other day, my goodness. For most of us, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, yes.
It's been quite
her name, but I do remember them.
Okay. But for most of us, it's been quite a while, and yet, boom. Oh yeah, Miss Holton. Because everything that's ever happened to you is still in your memory. It's still in your memory. And so I'm just getting to the point where I'm running out of space.
There, that's what I'll say next time. I'm running out of space.
Running out of space. Right.
You'd be interested to know what I remember about her.
I would?
Yes.
What do you remember about it?
And my mother said it's not true.
Oh?
She told the whole class, in my second grade class, that I was slower than molasses in January and my favorite subject was recess.
Oh.
The last part was true.
But the first part was she didn't say it? You remember her saying it, but she didn't
did say it, but it was not true.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I don't want to go there. Some teachers have no idea the impact they're having on kids. Positive, but also negative.
Well, it took me to my junior year in high school to get over that.
Oh, please, you folks are bringing memories. Come on, stop it. It was fourth grade, where the teacher, I don't know what she was thinking, but she had all the kids circle around me. She had me right in the middle, and they sang a song to me. You talk too much, you worry me to death. You talk too much, you even spoil my breath. You just talk. You talk too much. Some of you younger folks are going, what? And as I recall, I was loving it. I was the center of attention. Well, why would a teacher do that? Why humiliate? Come on. All right, so we're prepared. And again, pray. Maybe I should have put pray again at the end. Go through those steps, but I don't want to minimize. It's not just, pray because we're supposed to pray. No, I want God to direct my thoughts, direct my mouth, direct my mind. I want Him to be in the center of this conversation. So next time I think I will. I think I'll add pray and seek God's wisdom. Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6. What's it say? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Should we sing that together? I'm going to help you memorize Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6. You ready? Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge the Lord. He shall direct your pathways. He shall direct your pathways. Isn't that nice? Oh, do we have time? Yeah, can I do one more?
Yes.
Aunt Sue, remember Uncle Dan and Aunt Sue? She came to Aztec, New Mexico one year for a Sabbath school program. And she said, hey, sometime sing John 3:16 to the tune of Silent Night. That's all she said. So I went home and I said to my wife, let me try something with you. For God so loved the world that he gave his only, and it wasn't working. And she said, I see what you're doing. You're singing John 3:16 to the tune of What Child Is This? I said, that's what I'm doing. Sing it with me. The greatest Christmas verse, although we don't think of it as a Christmas verse, and arguably the greatest Christmas hymn, carol, we're going to put them together. You ready? For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, not whoever, that whoever shall believe, you know the next one, shall not perish but receive everlasting life, everlasting life. Am I the only one that gets carried away with that? Wow. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Sing that at Christmas time. Sing that at Christmas time. The greatest Christmas verse, for God so loved the world, with the greatest Christmas hymn. All right, let's go. Come on. We're prepared. Keep me on track, would you please? Engage. So you prepared. Now you got to do it. You got to do it. Maintain a calm and non-threatening demeanor. Here we go. Grab your thumb if needed. I have no idea what that is. What is that? Okay, hold on. I need a volunteer. Raise your hand. Who's going to say it? I need just one.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
Grab your thumb, look at your fingers and think.
When you're getting upset, those of you who missed, where did I do that? Was that here or was that in there?
Over there. Over there.
It was here? Oh, it was there.
No, over there.
In the auditorium. Where did I do this one? Yeah, that was the auditorium. If you're starting to get upset, you're not upset just because you're upset. If you're starting to get angry, you're not angry just because you're angry. There's an underlying reason. And so Tom and Bev Rogers of the Rogers Christian Counseling Center teach you to grab your thumb, look at your fingers, and think. Why am I upset? What should I do about it? Don't make decisions from your thinking brain. Don't make decisions from your emotional brain. You'll wish you hadn't. So again, if you want to, you can be talking to somebody and you're concerned that they're going to get you upset, whatever. They don't know what you're doing. You do. You're grabbing your thumb and you remind, stay calm, pay attention. But you're keeping yourself in a good state of mind. Did you have a thought, man?
I was just thinking, does that work for emotionals or getting upset, rather than anger?
Yeah. It all comes from the emotional brain. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Grab your thumb as needed.
Keep the big picture.
Yeah, what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Don't go down rabbit trails.
Don't go down rabbit trails. I like that. Yes. Yeah, keep the big picture. And depending on the circumstance and the person, hopefully the big picture is you're going to have a healthier relationship with this person. That's why you're going. You're not going to cause trouble. You're not looking to make things worse. You're going because you want to improve or keep a healthy relationship. So keep that in mind. Ooh, look at the next one. How easy is that to do?
Make it safe.
No, before that.
Refuse to take it personal. Yeah, right.
Oh, that is so easy for me to say. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
We do sometimes, don't we?
All the time.
Oh, I don't know about all of it.
Conversations about.
Of course.
About a personal defect.
Yeah.
A character defect or something.
Are you sure?
A behavior, something. Yeah, a lot of times that's why you have conversations.
Yeah. But a lot of times it has nothing to do with us.
Mm-mm.
I promise you this. People have gotten upset with you and had nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you. That's human nature. And you've probably done that to others. You got upset with somebody else and they weren't the source, but they happened to be there. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just
gotten older and lived longer and grown, I just try to tell myself when something like that's happening, I think it's not about me. I just tell myself it's not about me. If something's happening here, okay, it's not about me. And think what I can do to resolve it.
Yeah. And again, humility. C.S. Lewis, humility is not thinking less of yourself. What is it?
Thinking of yourself less.
It's a great way to live. Great way to live. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I always trying to think of the other person you're speaking to. You know, and then sometimes they're not on the same level as me on the subject. And so many times people will come across and forget the other person, and they're not getting it. And they don't understand. They're not getting the response. So sometimes you do have to dumb it down a bit to make sure they understand. Sort of like when you're talking to a child, you got to talk to them so they understand. I mean, you might be a good expert in your field,
right,
but that person might not be in that field and understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't really like the expression dumb it down, but I know what you're saying. Speak their language so they can make it easy for them to understand you. Yes, ma'am.
There's a flip side to not taking it personal. Just because someone calls you a chair doesn't make you a chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And there's another thing too. Extroverts and introverts, I've been told, I think it's true, think at the same rate. One gets to the printer before the other. Extroverts will think just as quick and they'll blurt it out. Introverts will think just as quick, but they won't be as quick to. So if we're not getting the response that we think we should get, maybe they're just processing. Maybe they're still taking it a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I was always taught my work, we have a program and it's always get yourself to their level so that you are on an equal footing with them so they can understand you clearly. Because a lot of times, people might nod like they understand you, but they're just following suit. They're not really getting anything you're telling them, and you're not going to get results.
And you won't even know it. You unless you ask them. Yeah, you won't even know it. Yep. But again, we take things personal sometimes. There was a song back in the day. You always hurt. Why?
The ones we're closest to.
They're the ones that are there. Well, when you say closest to, sometimes we think, oh, they love us, they'll put up with us, they'll overlook it, they'll forgive us. Maybe, maybe not. The correct answer is because they're there. Hurting people are going to hurt people. If I'm going to hurt somebody, I'm not going to get in my car, drive across town, looking for somebody to hurt. I'm going to hurt whoever's in striking distance. Kind of like that statistic that most accidents occur within 25 miles of home. Why is that true?
Was the bug on your neck?
It was that same wasp.
That was here this morning?
Yes. That's the people.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That took courage, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate that. Most accidents occur within 25 miles of home because that's where you are most of your time. Now, it can't be, many of you were further than 25 miles, but most of your life you're within 25 miles of home. When I heard that, I moved. Make it safe. Make it safe for you and for them. Consider a neutral, perhaps off-site location to meet. Why would I suggest a restaurant or a coffee shop? Why?
No yelling.
No yelling. No yelling. I'm sorry?
A lot of people, a lot of public, a lot of people around.
And we're going to be on our best behavior, aren't we?
Exactly.
We don't want to make fools of ourselves in public. So we're going to be keeping our voices down. We don't want other people listening in. Now, don't go to a real noisy place where you can't even hear each other. Come on. But yeah, sometimes a public setting is going to keep you on your toes, keep you on your best behavior. I like this next one. Consider meeting on their turf. Again, if it's uncomfortable for you, is there at least a chance it might be uncomfortable for them? Somebody say yes.
Yeah.
So meet in their office. Meet it there. At a place of their choosing. Help to make it their comfort zone. Yeah. You're entitled to yours, but if you want a successful conversation, it would behoove you to increase their comfort level. So they're going to be more participatory. Convey an attitude of appreciation, respect, and humility. That should go without saying. Maintain self-respect for all involved. Again, these are no-brainers, but hopefully something to focus on. Yeah, I'm going in with this purpose. I want to engage with all due respect and let them know that. And not even, I talk to it. You know what? I got to tell you right now, I'm uncomfortable right now. I don't know if you are or not, but we can do this. We need to have this conversation and get to a better place. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, own it. Alert him or her that the subject, well, here we go, is sensitive, and ask them to put their best ears on. I do that a lot. You know, I may say this wrong. Put on your best ears. Would you give me some extra grace? Because my motives are pure. I promise you, I'm coming with good intentions. I may not say it that way. I may, if I'm not careful, say something that you could take the wrong way, because I made you take it the wrong way.
Ron?
Yes?
In our Sabbath school class where I go to church, the little kids, when it's time for the story,
Yeah.
we say, okay, you got your listening ears on.
Got your listening ears on. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Is it
Good,
Ray
good.
or Ron?
Did I say Ron?
You did?
Oh, okay.
It's Ray. Ron.
Ron.
Ron Price. It's Ron.
I'm sorry, Ron.
Says it right there on my license.
Here, that's what I showed her the book.
It's right there. You go.
Ron right there.
Ray Price.
I'm sorry.
Ray Price was the singer.
Ray Price, yeah.
Oh my goodness, where am I? Yeah, admit your and their uneasiness at present and why. Don't try to pretend it's not there. Own it. Be real. And again, I've given you all these things, all these different steps. I hope you might take one or two that could be helpful to you. But if you're going with the right intentions and you're prayed up, chances are it's going to be a good conversation. Chances are it's going to be a good conversation. So stop dreading it, because oftentimes the dreading is worse than the actual occurrence. Can I get an amen to that? And I think we've all done that. We've dreaded doing something, we finally do it, and I said that earlier.
Not as bad.
It's not as bad. What was I dreading? What was I dreading? Okay. Own that you may not say everything just right. I think that's a repetition of an ask for added grace.
See, I
Hold
got your
on.
name here.
It says Ray Hall.
Laughter truly is a great
Ray
medicine.
Hall is the
Ray
building
Hall.
name.
location.
Ray Hall is
You tell the powers that be, I will come back here if they change the name to Ron Hall.
That's not your name, that's the name of the room that we're in.
This building is Ray Hall.
This building is Ray Hall.
That's what we're saying. My bad, yeah.
I have been called worse.
Just tell me the location, not your name.
Where am I, State? Now what?
You're in Ray Hall.
State what you see as your mutual purpose and invite their perspective. Again, if they have any questions about why we're here, what our purpose is. I want to do this now. No, I think I do it tomorrow. Yeah, and this last one is huge. What's that last bullet point?
Detect the behavior, the object, not the person.
Why?
Because it's I don't know.
They take it
I can't explain
personally.
it.
Somebody help Roberta. Why? Why is it important to attack?
It's not the person.
You're not attacking the
The
person.
behavior does not make the person.
Because we're battling with the
It's just a product of the person.
Hold on, I'm listening here.
I forget how it goes, because we're battling with the, not with the person itself, but with the unseen.
Powers and principalities,
Yeah, that's
Ephesians
it,
6.
yeah.
Instead of attack, I think I would rather deal with the actions, because attack to me puts.
You're not attacking their behavior.
Yeah. No, that's a good clarification.
They could be having a bad day.
The main point is don't attack the person. So, yeah, don't attack the problem either, address the problem.
In that book, Absolute Honesty, that's one of his main points, is that you keep the conversation to the issues and not to the person. And I've seen marriages break up over the idea that you always do that. You always say that. That's attacking the person and not the issue.
Yeah, and it's also always, never.
Yeah, big words.
They're not true.
Yeah.
They're not true, and they're fighting words. You're right, they're fighting words. All right, so address the behavior or performance, not the person. XYZ technique, what is that?
When you do X, in this situation, I feel like.
Thank you, somebody was in class paying attention yesterday. When you do X, the specific behavior, what is it that this person's doing that causes you grief, causes you frustration, causes you angst, whatever the word you want to put in there? What are they doing? When you do that, as specific as you can, I feel unloved, I feel disrespected, I feel hurt, I feel whatever. Own it. So you're attacking and again addressing the behavior. You know what? You. When you. Not who they are, it's what they did. Big difference. I like this one too. This is kind of the sandwich, I guess. On the one hand, I really appreciate this, and this. On the other hand, I'm concerned about this, and this. So a little bit of balancing. Again, you're coming with an issue, a challenge, a problem. Balance it a little bit. You know, it's not all bad. You know, on the one hand, I really appreciate when you go out of your way to do this and this. On the other hand, I'm frustrated when you do this, and this. What I don't want to do is, I like that expression too. What I don't want to do is, what might you fill in that blank? You're having a difficult conversation. What don't you want to do? Don't want to argue? What else?
I don't want to harm our relationship.
I don't want to harm our relationship?
Upset, I don't want to harm your relationship with somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to come across as I know it all. You can come along with lots of them. What I don't want to do is this and this. What I do want to do is help us get along better, help us have a healthier, happier relationship, more harmony and unity and so forth. So again, just a helpful expression to gather your own thoughts and to pass those thoughts on to the other. And again, another way to say that, what you're doing well is, what I believe you can improve on is. And let the person know. Again, you've given all this some thought, share it with them. Share it with them. Any questions on preparing? Oh, we're still engaging. Better turn it over. Ooh, be ready to disrupt the conversation as needed and re-engage. That sounds like be disruptive to me. Who was paying attention? What's be disruptive?
Walk out. Stop.
Do what now?
Walk out.
Walk out?
We need to take a walk.
Take a time out.
Distraction.
Yeah. If a conversation is going poorly, don't let it keep going and hope it's going to fix itself. It probably won't. Disrupt it. Just say, whoa, hold on, man. All of a sudden I want some fresh air. Let's take this outside. Let's go for a walk. You've disrupted the ugly. You got a chance for a do-over.
Or stop.
Stop?
Stop works, especially with children.
Well, with children, yeah. I don't know if I try that with an adult. Stop.
No, the children, they get no command.
Yeah.
Never tell another adult what to do.
Yeah. I shared yesterday the importance of a timeout, and I said there's two ways to tell another adult that a timeout is warranted. I need a timeout, or I think we need a timeout. What should you never say to another adult?
You need a timeout.
You'll find out how much they do. But again, I'm encouraging you to go in expecting a good result from the conversation. Is that going to guarantee it's going to happen? Somebody say no.
Sometimes they get hijacked.
Sometimes they get hijacked, absolutely. And you're in control of your part of it.
Right.
But if it's conversation, it's not just you. There's obviously another part that has a great influence on the eventual outcome. So do a process check-in. If you see the other person maybe squirming or fidgeting or whatever, just say, whoa, is everything okay? Be brave. Be brave. Be concerned. Am I saying something that's hitting you the wrong way? Again, with humility, that's really easy to do. It's practicing humility that's the tough part. But if we can do that and really care about the other person, that's going to come across. All things being equal, that's going to come across. And hopefully bode well. All right, use active listening, love talk. What's love talk stand for those who weren't here the other day? Listen, understand, validate, value or validate. Yep. And it's called proactive listening. You've heard that, where you share with the person and then you pause to ask them, what did they just hear? So you make sure you're communicating the way you want to communicate. All right. Invite their input, folks. You've had a chance to voice your concerns. You've had a chance to let them know, hey, this is what I'm concerned about, and maybe propose a solution. But please don't rush to solve a problem. We do that. This is the problem, here's the solution, boom. So we end up putting Band-Aids on cancers. In most relationships, there are surface issues that we can see and deal with. There are deeper issues under that, and then often there are deeper issues even still under that. And if you're dealing with a deeper issue on a surface level, you might put it down for a little while, but it's going to come back up at some point. So don't rush to solve problems. It's worth taking the time. Allow them to consider if they wish and schedule another session. Why would I say that?
Cool down time maybe, or process what's been going on.
Process what's been going on, yes.
They may need some time to prepare to respond and bring to the table what they feel about what's going on.
We've spent hours, days, weeks, months, sometimes preparing and thinking, and then we want an instant answer from the other person.
And they may have no concept of what was coming. It may be a complete surprise to them.
So we owe them the courtesy that we gave ourselves. Hey, take some time, hopefully not weeks or months, but would you give this a thought? And maybe we can get back together in a couple of weeks or whatever, and whenever you're ready, we'll talk more.
Also
That's
allows
courtesy.
emotions to be escalated if they're uncomfortable or upset or something. It gives time to, calm down and think rationally.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, there is a clock in here. Good. Never mind what time it is.
You mentioned it.
Never say but. Why?
It cancels out everything.
It cancels everything. I know you just said this, this, and this, but. That means everything you just said is total garbage, not a word of truth in it. Now, here comes the truth, because I'm going to tell you. So I use and. What you just said is true, and it's also true that.
Well, I was just kind of laughing because you're on one hand, on the other hand is very much like a but. It's just in a different way.
But it's a nicer way. No, because it's saying on this end it's true.
Right.
But cancels it out.
When I read it, I was like, that's interesting. It's
Yeah.
the different ways.
Yeah. Yeah, when you say but, it can't. Everything you just said is not true. The other person just said, you say but. All right. It's also possible that. I like that one as well. That is true. I think I told you about Alfred Adler. Everything else might also be the case. Did you ever study Adler in your counseling? I liked him. I didn't like Freud, but I liked Adler.
Yeah, Adler was my favorite.
Okay. Social awareness.
Not sick or discouraged.
And what now?
Not sick, discouraged.
Not sick, but discouraged. Ooh, I like that too.
We always at work, we use maybe next time, try this.
Maybe next time we'll try something different. Okay. Okay. And when in doubt, ask. Is there something I'm missing? How do you view the situation, the challenge, the problem? What thoughts do you have about making it better? If you were in my position, how would you address this situation? I love that question. And sometimes physically change chairs. Here, you sit here for a minute. I want to sit there. Now, how would you address this situation? That's powerful. I feel like I'm doing lots of commercials for my books, and I apologize for that, but I don't. I want them to bless people. Do I want to profit financially? Yes. Hello. But I hope that's not my only and not even my major motivation. Chapter 26 in the At Work book. And again, I called it At Work, but it's any relationship. Not that one. That's the other one.
Yeah, this is the other one.
26 or 27. Button guard is one. And the other one is, what do you say when you don't know what to say? What do you say when you don't know what to say? And let me tell you the story. I was a probation parole officer, and I had this young kid, young is getting older and older. He was in his 20s, early mid-20s. DWIs, he had like 4 or 5 DWIs already. Young kid, good little kid, young kid. But alcohol was getting the best of him. So he got charged and he got put on probation, and we sent him off to Hazelden. It's in Minnesota. At the time, it was the finest alcohol treatment place in the country. And he came back, and he did great. He dotted every I, he crossed every T, he did everything I asked him to do. I rewarded him. I let him off probation early. He turned his life around. And so I stopped being a probation parole officer. And like 3 years later, I have no idea how I found out. I don't know who would have known that I knew him. I would see him. He worked at the grocery store that I frequented. And I'd always say, hey, Buford, hey, Ray. He said, I'm sorry, Mr. Hall, how are you? Buford, how you doing? Doing good? Yeah, Ron, you doing good? I'm doing good. All right, keep it up, keep it up. And it was good. It was nice to see him and encourage him, and I was happy for him. And again, 3 years later, I find out he's drinking again. And again, I have no idea who I would have heard that from. But anyway, I thought, well, I got to go talk to him. Why? You're not his PO anymore. Shut up and mind your own business. I couldn't do that. Yeah, exactly right. I couldn't do that. I said, I got to go talk to him. I'll talk to myself. I got to go. What are you going to say? I don't know. But maybe if I don't know, maybe he does. Maybe he does. So this is what I did, and please don't do what I did unless you want to, but I don't recommend it. I went up to him and I said, Buford, I got a problem. Well, what's that, Ron? Well, I need your help. I got this guy. He was a former probation client, a lot like you actually. He had a problem with alcohol, got DWIs, got into trouble, and we sent him off to treatment. Again, very much like you. Went to treatment and just did great. Came back, I let him off probation early, and now I find out he might be drinking again, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should go talk to him or if I should mind my own business. He said, well, Ron, do you care about this guy? I said, Buford, I do. I said, we're not best friends, but I just know how hard he worked, and I hate to see him lose it. He said, then I think you should go talk to him. I said, good, here I am. And the look on his face was like, what? I said, Buford, I caught wind that you may be drinking again, and I'm just here to encourage you. Did you do something similar? All right, hold that thought, because I want to hear it. Hold on, I want to hear it. I said, I'm just here to encourage you. I'm here to remind you of how hard you had to work and what you have to lose. He said, well, you think I ought to go back to meetings? I said, I don't know, but you do. You do. I'm just here to encourage you, please. Don't lose what you work so hard for. And you know how people shake your hands and they go, oh, well, thanks for coming by, or they shake your hand. That's what I got. He valued me coming because, again, I cared. And it showed, and it was a beautiful conversation. You did something similar. What's wrong with you?
The same situation.
Talk to it.
I did the exact same thing you did to somebody.
Buford? Oh.
The exact same scenario.
Yeah.
To somebody that was a drinker, went to rehab.
Yeah.
And came back and blew it. And I said, I've got to help him.
Yep. Oh.
And I had the nerve to say that.
Okay. Okay.
And
But you didn't go pretending you were talking about somebody else. Oh, good. No, you're saying.
So what was the outcome? What was the rest of the story?
For Buford?
Yes.
I really do. I hope he went out. He doesn't work at the store anymore. I haven't seen him. I don't know. But I would hope that he worked. What was the outcome with yours? Don't know? Okay.
You got his permission,
I got his permission, Julie, thank you.
so you really engaged.
I
him in
asked
some
him,
hearing.
yeah, roundabout. I mean, some people say, oh, that was deceptive.
Yeah, it
You know
was.
what? If I was going for my own purposes, then yeah, that was
Well,
deceptive.
Nathan
and
went to David that way.
Nathan went to David that way. Perfect.
Yeah, they appreciated you cared.
Yep. No, that I hadn't thought of that, but that's exactly right. I went as Nathan to David. Hey, let me tell you a story.
And if he'd have given you a different response, you could have backed off.
Yeah.
You still had the opportunity to leave it alone.
If he had said, you know what, it's none of your business, I'd have said, okay, you're right, but I'll pray for you anyway.
And you were assessing it step by step, and you could see it was gonna be.
But sometimes when you don't know what to say, own that. Say, I don't know how to help you. How can I help you? I don't know what to do in this situation. What should I do? Own it. Because you don't know it all. Oh no. Didn't I tell you folks already, the people who think they know it all are awful annoying to those of us who really do? Where am I? Yeah, never use but when in doubt. Okay. Yeah, change seats and let them role play with you. I like that. It's getting them to see the situation in a little different light and do some self-analysis, which most people don't like to do. Most of us kind of shy away from that at times. Brainstorm together for possible solutions. Let me get into that. And again, another commercial. This is in the workbook, the NASA model for brainstorming. Remember the movie Apollo 13?
Yes.
That was a serious, hairy situation. We almost lost those guys. They were on the other side of the moon. We had no contact with them whatsoever. It was scary, and a part had blown up or something. It was bad. And so NASA had to get together, and they used this brainstorming. I'm going to give you 3. You might want to write these down. 3 rules for effective brainstorming. How many of you, by the way, have been in a brainstorming session that was an absolute total waste of your time? You could have been anywhere else. Yeah, most of us can say yeah. How many of you have been in brainstorming sessions that, you know what, we got some things done. We move forward. Here's 3 rules. Number 1, everybody knows why we're there. If you're going to have a brainstorming session, everybody knows why we're there, what's the purpose, what are we hoping to accomplish, why are we having this brainstorming session? That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is if you think it, you say it. That's for everybody. It's the only time I recommend going right from the brain to the mouth. But if you think of something, you say it. But rule number 3 is huge. Nobody comments on anybody else's idea. Nobody comments on anybody else's idea. Let me tell you why this is so important. I'm going to pick on my friend Julie because I know she would never do this. I make a comment. I throw out a possible suggestion. And Julie says, Ron, did you take stupid pills this morning? That's never going to work. Again, I'm picking on Julie. I don't think you'd say that to me. Would you? You might think it, but you wouldn't.
No.
How do I feel?
Belittled.
Belittled.
Yes.
Are you going to hear any more from me in that meeting?
No.
But guess what? We're not going to hear from anybody else either because now it's unsafe.
Yeah.
Now it's dangerous. It's risky to throw an idea out there. We may get shot down. Yes, sir.
One of my best engineering classes, we took a course in 2-hour class session, double session, on practicing how to do a brainstorming session.
Okay.
And rule number 1 is rule number 3 here. We all get the spit one laid up. Anybody who dare comment on somebody else, it's free target.
Free target, yeah. Comment on somebody else's. So nobody comments on anybody else's idea. Whoever's chairing the meeting writes them down, right? And by the way, hold that thought. Throw out a stupid idea sometime. Maybe we ought to blow up the building or build a new one. I mean, you know, just get ludicrous, get crazy, because it frees up some space in your brain to come up with some other ideas.
Another side to why you don't want to say anything when people are brainstorming is that you interfere with the flow of why your brain's purpose brainstorming is to open up the brain.
Yeah.
So things can flow out.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to impede that in the
Shut it down at all. Yep. No, you're right.
And they ended up with 80 suggestions. And then any suggestions of a way to improve the American bathroom?
Way to improve the American bathroom? What, I'm supposed to be done now?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
We got a break for
Let's go. But again, here's the thing though. If you think it, you say it. I was in a brainstorming session last century. It was last millennium. It was last millennium. That's how long ago it was. Doesn't that sound like a long time ago? A Chamber of Commerce, and I don't know what we were talking about, but I threw out an idea. And like a second later, a lady sitting next to me said, or maybe we can do this. She took my idea and improved on it so much that that's what we ended up doing. But if I hadn't said what I had said, she might not have thought what she had thought. So if you think it, you say it, nobody comments, you write them down, and then I myself might say, you know what, that one that I suggested, cross that off. That's not going to work. All right. Yep. Consider your thoughts at the time.
Right.
Back.
Question.
But if you don't comment, you are commenting, and you say, and if, oh, yeah, if we do that, it's gonna be this. You know, that sounds like a solve.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's commenting on it, so.
Yeah, we're in it together. We're all there to solve this. Let's all pitch in and do our part. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. Ensure that any agreements are crystal clear, no ambiguity or room for interpretation. That's a big one. I love this one too. Suggest a trial period. You know what? We don't know if this is going to improve things or not. Why don't we try it for a couple of weeks, a month, whatever the situation, 3 months. I love trial periods rather than demanding. They're much less intimidating and people more likely to say, yeah, I'll try that for a while. We'll see. And then we can come back and check in. Set a time for another follow-up. All right, key phrases to begin or continue a conversation. I wonder, I'm concerned, I notice, I'm puzzled by, I'm frustrated by, I realize, I appreciate, I hope, I expect. I messages, you're not you messages. Key phrases to avoid, most, if not all, you statements, unless they're positive and complimentary. I need, I must have, I deserve better. Watch out for those. We need to talk. Yeah, that's the most scary words in a man's vocabulary, man's language. Close with prayer as appropriate. Show appreciation for their willingness to listen to you and to respond as appropriate. So, just some thoughts. Don't. If you want to have that conversation, do it. Nike, just do it. Because the dread is often worse than the actual experience. So hopefully some thoughts in there to help you again prepare beforehand, engage, and then follow up. So, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Go to your 4 o'clock class.
Here we are.
You're all staying here?
Have you? Resolution.
Yes.
Did you hear, have you heard of the song, the first song is the 7 and 8 song? Okay. Yes, I love, yes, I'm in the Bible school.
There's a reason my second grade teacher thought I was school. I wasn't, but she thought I was. And it got resolved the next year when I got to lessons.
You and Ben Carson. Do you know Ben Carson's story?
Yes.
That he couldn't say it. He couldn't say that, thought he was stupid.
When my wife was crazy, I said, well, in the conflict situation, there are calculus based, there is not linear based. We can calculate the result of the growth,
Well, a lot of support.
I was in a class about
Hey, Eddie.
Is there any time?
I was gonna say, you're our elder, maybe you can do that.
If you can truly,
I said, you are
Let's forgive
our
them.
elder.
Because the last time we was quick to
You
talk
said you
about
could do that on the internet. You know, like they mentioned that. Remember when you mentioned that, and you were there, he said like, when churches don't have people in the office to lead.
So there are moments when it's not safe.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, it is, okay. Okay.
Because if there is a medical issue that you don't know, you're not sure.
You're not going to fix it.
You know, because somebody offends you with no reasons, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 times when you're in the worst of your life. That's not normal. So it's not because
I agree.
because my students, I always tell them if somebody's bullying you, cut, don't separate.
Right.
You don't need ever.
Right.
That's a recommendation.
I mean, hopefully, but if it's going to keep going, then ultimately you may have to do
Yeah, like
something
the
about
one
it.
she was trying to yourself. I mean, that's the medicine is finished.
It's kind.
And that doesn't mean that we don't forgive, you know?
Right.
It's forgiven, but you cannot deal with it. It's a medical thing.
Yeah, I've never been to the fiesta.
Well,
You got to make reservations way in advance.
Yeah.
I've just never done it.
No, I pushed the button.
okay. We volunteer this way outside. Anyhow, it's in October. We almost got a balloon ride, but the weather was not.